There's something almost unfair about destiny, because sometimes it waits until the very last moment to reward the one who's been chasing it the longest. And for Lionel Messi, that moment finally came in 2022. But here's the part nobody talks about enough. One of the men who helped build that dream wasn't even on the pitch. Sergio Aguero, a player who gave everything to Argentina, watched the greatest night in his country's football history from the outside. Or at least, that's what it looked like. Because what actually happened was something much deeper. Argentina's victory at the 2022 FIFA World Cup wasn't just about lifting a trophy. It was about closing a 36-year wound. A generation grew up without seeing their nation on top of the world. And suddenly, in one unforgettable night, everything changed. The pressure, the heartbreaks, the near misses, all of it led to that final. A final that many now call the greatest ever played. And at the center of it all, Messi. A man who carried expectations heavier than any trophy he had ever lifted. A man who had been questioned, doubted, even criticized by his own people. Until he wasn't. Until he silenced everything. But while the cameras were focused on Messi lifting the trophy, there was another story unfolding just behind the scenes. Aguero, forced to retire just 1 year earlier because of a heart condition. No farewell tour, no last dance, just an abrupt end. Imagine dedicating your entire life to a dream and then being told you won't be there when it finally comes true. For most people, that would leave a scar. Bitterness, regret, a feeling of what if. But Aguero, he felt something completely different. Joy, pure, overwhelming, undeniable joy, because inside that Argentina squad, something rare existed. Something you don't see in every champion team. They didn't forget the people who built the road. They didn't forget the players who fought in the years when winning felt impossible. They made sure Aguero wasn't just watching history. They made him part of it. That iconic image, Aguero lifting Messi on his shoulders after the final, wasn't just celebration. It was recognition. It was brotherhood. It was a message. You're one of us, always. And that says everything about that team. Because great teams win trophies. But legendary teams, they create something bigger than football. A shared identity, a spirit, a feeling that every Argentine could recognize instantly. And according to Aguero, that's exactly what made the difference. Not just talent, not just tactics, but identity. Now fast forward to today. The question isn't just whether Argentina can win again, it's whether that same fire still exists. Because history shows us something brutal about champions. Most don't fall because they lose quality. They fall because they lose hunger. But this Argentina team, it's different. Under Lionel Scaloni, something very calculated is happening. The old guard is still there. Messi, Nicolas Otamendi, Rodrigo de Paul. Players who understand exactly what it takes to win at the highest level. But right beside them, a new generation is rising. Hungry, fearless. Players like Enzo Fernandez and Julian Alvarez, who tasted glory young, and now want more. And even newer names. Nico Paz, Franco Mastantuono, Giuliano Simeone. Players who didn't just grow up watching Argentina win. They grew up understanding what it means. And that's dangerous, because when you mix experience with obsession, you don't just get a team, you get a mentality. Aguero believes that's the key, that the veterans aren't just there to play, they're there to pass something down. A responsibility, a mindset, a kind of pride that can't be taught in training sessions. And then there's Messi, still at the center of it all, still rewriting what's possible. Since moving to Inter Miami CF, he hasn't just played football. He's transformed an entire league. The Major League Soccer has changed. Stadiums are sold out wherever he goes. Fans don't just watch, they experience something. Aguero put it simply, there's a before and after Messi in MLS, and that impact It's going to carry straight into the next World Cup, the 2026 FIFA World Cup, a tournament that will be played across the United States, Mexico, and Canada, 3 countries where Messi has already left his mark. So now the story becomes even bigger. Can Argentina defend their crown? Can Messi do it again? Or will this be the moment where a new generation takes over completely? Because here's the truth nobody can ignore. Winning once is historic. Winning twice? That's legacy. And legacy is what separates icons from immortals. But maybe the real story isn't just about trophies. Maybe it's about something Aguero already understands better than most. That football isn't just about who's on the pitch. It's about who you carry with you when you get there. And Argentina? They carry everyone. The past, the pain, the near misses, the forgotten heroes. That's why they're dangerous. That's why they're different. And that's why the world should be watching very closely. Because if that same spirit shows up again in 2026, we might not just be witnessing a champion, we might be witnessing a dynasty. If you felt that story, if you understand what makes this Argentina team different, hit like and stay with this channel, because the next stories are only getting bigger.